Akashic Record Keepers, please assist us in accessing the knowledge of this business's mission to serve humanity in its own unique way. Please help us develop the courage and vision needed to comprehend its vastness and accomplish its higher purpose with precision. Please share with us its blueprint for success in the way this business was created to serve. Please help us map out an attainable strategic plan to ensure its contracts are completed. Assist us in releasing our patterns of control and resistance that delay us in fulfilling this plan. We are grateful to have been chosen by this business to be its ambassador and partners in achieving its purpose. I'll be silent for a moment. What I just did for those that just walked in is I just opened the records of my business, Akashic Record Business Coaching, but I also opened the records of the talk so that you would get you may get your insights, or I was telling everyone earlier, if you get a little something pops into your mind that's an idea or something, write it down, okay? So first of all, I'm so glad all of you are here. It's really great to bring this out into the world and give people an idea that there is a different paradigm for businesses as we go forward. I'm LindaBerger. I'm a business coach since 2007, and I've been a Akashic Record teacher, consultant since the late 90s. So it's been a long time. It's been over 25 years. And the Akashic Masters for my own soul growth have been wanting me to bring my coaching to the Akashic Records and blend them for years. But I have been pushing back, saying I wasn't ready to kind of come out of the spiritual closet with my business owners. And I finally did it. So today's my first talk where I actually blended it. So I was telling everyone that was here earlier, if I flub up a little bit, please excuse me because I am so nervous. This is me like stepping into being 100% of who I am as an individual, and that's what the soul of your business does. It pulls you into this. But it allows for time. So I just want to share with you that I look at everything, and I teach my clients and my students to think of your relationship. We're only talking about your business today, but your relationship with any other soul. Think of it as an infinity sign of energy, and that it's constantly moving. And that when you connect and understand that your business is its own entity, it isn't you and you aren't it, that you will actually be able to unlock that energy to allow it to go out and reach the contracts it's meant to reach. So your business's soul is not you. It is, and you are not it. You are separate entities. You are simply a steward, a partner, an ambassador for that. You're the human vessel that can only be the one that can step into the world. It picked you, okay? You have all this stuff. It wants to make sure that whoever runs the business, leads the business, is capable and has all the stuff that is going to make sure it reaches all of the contracts it was created to reach. So a little bit about the soul of how a soul of a business is created. It isn't like our soul. Our soul is very vast and multidimensional, and just it's filled with past lives and just so much. But the soul of a business has one job. It has one higher purpose. And it was created by a segment of humanity I call life, because it could be people that are taking care of the environment, or people that are taking care of animals, or humanity itself, people. So there's a thread of humanity that needs this special whatever it is, whether it's an attorney, an accountant, a doctor, a vet, whatever it happens to be. It has its own individual vibration. And that's why there's so many businesses. So that vibration has to find the person that will link with the vibration of the business, so that it has all the stuff that business can go out and meet that segment of humanity's contracts. Did you get that? Okay. So it isn't complex like our soul. It's very simple, but it's big. It's a purpose. And what I've seen with a lot of business owners is they're so talented. They have so much passion and vision, but they get overwhelmed. And one of my clients, I want you to meet Jen. Jen is an attorney. She's a divorce attorney. And this is when we first started working together. She was really overwhelmed. She was a solopreneur, like probably many of you are. But she had this huge vision that she was going to change the way people looked at divorce and divorcees. And that she was going to create a wholeness experience for people through the divorce, so that children weren't hurt through divorce, and that parents kind of moved on versus being stuck with anger. But she had these really big ideas, and when I met her, and I was like, Jen, you've got these great ideas. She had the energy for it, she had passion. All of you have passion for your businesses. But the problem is that you get stuck in the overwhelm, because you don't have the knowledge of where to take your steps, where to go first, when to pull the plug on one thing and go into another. So with Jen, we worked a couple of years together, actually, and once she realized that all this overwhelm and being overworked, and she was the supporter of the family. She has 3 kids and a husband. And so she could not do anything but just put her head down and just keep working. She worked 7 days a week. So the thing is that once she learned about the soul of the business, and I opened that up to her, and we started going into the soul of the business, this is her now. Wow. It completely transformed her life, her business, and just the way she didn't realize that those big dreams were her business's purpose, trying to bring her into it. She was allowing the overwhelm to really push her down, hold her back, and she was frustrated, and she started getting angry, and she wanted to really give up the business because it was too overwhelming for her. So now she has her calling, she's got a team, she's no longer by herself. I taught her how to, through the soul of the business, how to hire versus hiring friends. I don't know if any of you have ever had that experience where you love your friend, you know they're talented, but it just doesn't work. So now what she does is she has this whole program that we actually set up to be franchised. So that if she decides that she wants to franchise this particular way of creating divorce, she can sell it to other attorneys. And that is into the bigger picture now. When I first met her, she couldn't even think of that. It's like, don't even go there. But when you work with the soul of the business, you start making decisions much more, with much more clarity, much more confidence, because you're not guessing anymore. You're not guessing, should I hire this person? Should I hire that person? Because you go to the soul of the business and you say, okay, here's 3 people I'm looking to hire. Which one do I hire? And Sandy, have any of you in this room ever had a problem really getting clients to see your value, or potential clients to really see the value that you offer in when you raise your prices and when you want to start a new program and it's much more expensive. Well, Sandy, that was her. She struggled to grow her business. She had big ideas. She could feel the mission. Sandy's one of my students in my course, my Soul Mission courses, and she was really struggling to grow her business. She had these big ideas. She didn't know how to put them in place. So once she learned how to access the records of her business, even though she fought tooth and nail because it was about getting rid of her stuff that she had that was building up, she did it. And just recently, we just finished the course, the 1-year course. She's launched her dream project after 20 years. She told me, she goes, I've been wanting to open One Heart University, which is about horses and animals and animal communicators. And she said, I can't believe it, but I actually launched it. And she also increased her client base. She now is doing something completely new, which showed up for her, where she's taking, I forgot what they call that something where you take a camera and you go around and people all over the world can watch you. I don't know what that's called.
Going live, when she goes live.
Yeah, exactly. So she's gotten so into this and introducing all these people to the animals and how important the animals are and how they're trying to communicate with us. And she works with horses and wild mustangs. That's what she works with. So she's a completely different person. She got so much money dumped into her, put into her account because she got over her stuff. And that's one of the great things about working in a group, because you have to keep showing up. You keep getting pushed. Now for me, I was never a spiritual person. I was a real estate person. I was a real estate broker. I was into making money, building teams, building systems, selling houses. And one day I was walking past a friend she was kind of indoctrinating me into spiritual stuff because I didn't really know anything. And she said, oh my God, I just had this fabulous reading. And I said, really? I said, what's that person's name? And I just knew I had to be there. Have you ever had that feeling like, I don't know what it is, I don't care, I don't know how much it is, I don't care, I just know I have to be there? Well, that's what I did. I picked up the phone, I chatted the woman, she gave me the address, I never asked how much it is, what I have to do, I just showed up. So I showed up for my Akasha record consultation, didn't know anything about Akasha records, I knew nothing. So I'm walking, she lived on the 3rd floor, I live in Chicago. I'm coming down, and I keep hearing this booming voice in my head. You need to be doing this. I'm like, doing what? I'm thinking, and I remember I'm not connected to the spiritual world here. So I'm like, I'm a real estate broker. What do you mean I need to be doing this? So I walked all the way back up the 3 flights of stairs, knocked on her door, and I said, I'm so sorry for disturbing you, but I think I'm supposed to be doing this, and I don't really even know what this is. And she said, oh yeah, I'm a teacher in Chicago. She was really one of the only teachers in the 90s when I first started. So I said, yeah, I think I need to be doing this. So I went to her class. I think it was in 2 weekends. It was a weekend. And she said, okay, everybody, go home. You have 30 days. Do as many consultations as you want. Don't charge anything after 30 days. You can charge. So after 30 days, I was supposed to call her. She said, so how many did you do? Consults. And I said, she goes, 3, 4? I go, no, I did 36. And she said, what? I said, people just kept coming. I didn't even know them. I told one person, and that was it. The rest were people. They'd come in my house, I'd give them a reading, and they leave. I knew nothing about them. So I think what happened, and I didn't have the knowledge or the understanding at that time, but what I've learned and have discovered is that our business starts dropping seeds really early to bring us to it, so that we can develop ourselves, develop the knowledge, the trust, the courage, taking action, moving forward, so that it can prepare us to step into this bigger vision of ourselves that we have maybe seen, but have been scared to step into. And that was me for many years, like I was explaining to you when we first started, that it took years for me. I've been a real estate broker since the 80s. So, and I've been an Akasha record teacher and consultant since the 90s. So, some of you probably weren't even born at that time. So, but what I did was I learned this and I kept it in the closet. And I kept working in my real estate team. And at that time, nobody had teams, and I had this foresight to work with these teams, so that's what I did. And the thing is that I didn't realize it, but the record keepers, because I was doing that spiritual work on myself, was guiding me to all these different ways. And they taught me two things that I never knew that I could do, and I've actually taught teachers and consultants, is as a realtor, if we would always end up, and I never knew why this was until now, we always ended up with homes that were hard to sell. So one day I thought, let me open the records of the home. And I turned that into every one of our listings. I would open the Akashic records of the home, find out what the home needed to sell, tell the owner what the home needed, or if I could clear it, I did. And that again were the seeds that my business was planting, that you're being shown how to open the door for people to do things that they wouldn't necessarily do. And so when I was learning in that first 30 days, my second person that walked in the door wanted to know some questions about his business. And I said, I don't know if I can, do anything with that. But I did. I used the key with his business's name, and it was like this amazing experience where I saw this entity that had all these energies going into it, going out of it, karma being created, contracts being completed. I was like, oh my God, I love this. Having been a business person in real estate, it just ignited so much in me. But I didn't know that was a seed that was starting to plant, and that was back in the 90s, and look at, it's taken me, what year is this, 2022? Yeah, it's taken me that long. I kind of drag my feet, but but one of the things is I was very successful at real estate, but I was miserable. I was, it showed me that making money isn't necessarily the thing that brings you happiness unless you align it with what's really trying to come out from you. That part of you that is really trying to connect with humanity, trying to connect with the work. And so this is me now. I have 6 grandchildren. There's my friend Lisa Barnett, who is Akashic record teacher. She has her own school, and I help her with her books. I help her write her books. I help her build her school. And now what I do is I work with clients that are that want to work at a higher level, want to really step into their purpose without questions, without uncertainty, without wasting time, wasting energy, wasting money. Because who do I hire? I can't tell you how many solopreneurs I've talked to that by the time they find me, they're broke and they're burnt out. And the thing is that I don't want that to happen. I want you to realize that this soul, this entity, has a blueprint. It's complete. It is ready for you to access it, to ask questions, to, as a matter of fact, I've been doing that with Lisa Barnett since she started the school. I kept pushing her, you need to open your school, you need to do it. No, you need to do it, no. And I was like, just do it. And so we did it, and every time she had to hire someone or get rid of someone or plan a new class or her TED Talk she just did, all of these things, she would come to me, I would open the business's records and I would give the information. Don't hire this person. If you hire this person, they're only going to last for a certain number of months. And so it gives everything you possibly need. The problem is we don't know how to find that knowledge. So there's a whole different way to trust it, because you have to learn the knowledge, then you have to trust it. And the only way, how do we trust? We trust by stepping into things. We trust by doing and falling on our face and getting back up and dusting ourselves off. But the problem is with a lot of new business owners is that they're afraid to fail. But there's really no failing, because look at all the times I kept thinking, oh, I'm going to stay in real estate, I'm going to keep this in the closet, but the seeds were being dropped. And so we have to trust that about ourselves. But we want to trust our CEO that's on the other side. We want somebody that has our back, somebody that's not going to have us waste our time, our money, because the Akashic record keepers, as any beings of light, they have so much respect for us. They know how hard it is to, one, live life in general, but two, to start a business. There's so many different moving parts to a business. And businesses can't be sustained through simply passion. You need to have strategic planning. And I can't tell you, if all of you have businesses in here, I bet you are excellent at what you do. But did anyone ever teach you how to take that passion and strategically move it out so that it can build on itself, where you have a solid foundation? You know, even with houses, when you build a house, you have to have a solid foundation in order for that house not to get a crack and end up separating. So that's what we do, me with the Akashic Masters and the work that I do, is I'm here to empower you. I want you to live the biggest dream that you've ever had with your work. So, and I respect the fact that you are you're passionate and an expert at what you do. And I'm passionate and expert at what I do. I don't do what all of you do, I do me. And like I said, with the business, it has brought me to 100% of who I am now. That business coach is no longer afraid to say, well, did you ever think your business might have a soul? For years, I was afraid to say that because I would lose clients. I have accountants, I have lawyers, I have insurance brokers, and I was just with a dentist. So I don't want people to think that this is woo-woo, okay? It's not. And as a matter of fact, I told my teacher right after my 30 days, I said, this isn't really woo-woo. She goes, or spiritual, this is very practical. She goes, oh no, this is very spiritual. I said, no, it has such a great practical application. But that's me. I'm very strategic, I'm very practical, I'm very pragmatic. That's my way. So it's the knowledge. You learn the knowledge from being able to either open the records of a business or working with someone like myself that does that. And that way you have the courage to keep stepping forward. Because when you do it by yourself, I don't know about you, but when I'm doing things by myself, I hit a wall, and that wall is like, that's where all my excuses are, all my distractions are, and then I just start stepping back. But when I work with the different coaches that I have, they push me. Because I've learned, even from Lisa, she's been trying to push me into doing this whole thing for years. And I was like, nah, it's okay. I'll just keep it the way it is. I'm nice and successful. I don't want to risk this. They're patient, the Akashic Masters, keepers. So what do we do when we learn the knowledge? Whenever you learn something new, whenever a class you go to, you start to trust the process as you're working in it, right? If you go to a class and they give you a new technique or a new tool, how do you start to trust the tool? You start using it, right? Well, that's what we do with the Akashic records of the soul of the business. Now, I just want you to know that the whole idea for today, for this talk, is for you to think about for a moment that there is a business that is outside of you, okay? It isn't you, and you're not it. It is an entity that you are its ambassador. It picked you because it trusts you. It trusts you to make sure that you will do what you need to make sure this business that needs a human being, it can't just go and flourish on its own, that you will take the steps and you will allow it to be the guide to get you there. So what you're actually doing is you're being soul led, but heart driven, like your passion's driving it. But the soul has the plan, and it's actually showing you where to go. So you don't make a left turn when you're supposed to be making a right turn. So it's the trusting the new knowledge. I know that what I'm saying to a lot of people is like a mind bender, like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, how could that possibly be? But I want you to trust me right now that the whole idea is to be able to access the knowledge of it. And then you start to trust it. And then the last thing that you do, the key 3, is to really take inspired action. So now you're super excited. I mean, this is the whole coaching process too, and the training process that whether I'm teaching in a course or I'm teaching my clients, is that you get new knowledge, you go out, maybe you want to do it, maybe you don't want to do it, but you do it because you're being held accountable. And then when you do it, it starts to build. It starts to build excitement. It starts to, all of a sudden, doors start opening that you didn't know were even there. And it happens very quickly. That's the one reason why I stopped just doing business coaching without quote. Because what I saw while I was business coaching, even realtors way back when, is I would have my own Akasha records open, which would give them insights and intuition while I was coaching them. And I started to notice how quickly they were making changes. And even through 2000, what was the recession was, 2008, I remember it started, to 2010, when I was coaching them during that terrible real estate market, a lot of them, through the work that I was doing in my Akashic Records coaching them, they either left the business, they became very successful after it, or they started their own real estate companies and became very successful. So I started to notice these little seeds were being dropped, like, wow, this is a lot faster process than me just doing my coaching, my regular business coaching. So that's what really got me excited. But again, I still dragged my feet because I was scared. I was just really, really scared. So I don't even know what time it is. How are we doing on time? Oh, we're good. So if you're curious, you can come to my booth at 455 is my booth number? Yeah. And you can have a 1-hour consultation. I have a sheet on here. I usually charge $4.50 an hour, but I think it's $197 or something like that. So you can come by my booth and make an appointment. But this is what I really want you to take away today. If you're starting a business, or you already have a business, or you're thinking of selling your business to move on, I want you to realize that your business has a soul, okay? Don't let it die. Don't let it just sit out there and not be attended to, okay? If you can't do and take it to the next level, sell it to somebody or give it to somebody, or, and trust me, you will be guided on who that right person is. Because they're the ones that have the vision that can take it to the next level. And when you first start working with the soul of the business, what happens is you start to build that foundation. So it depends where you're at too. If you're just starting a business, you really have to make it solid. So it may be a slower process of just getting that foundation in. But then all of a sudden, it's like jet fuel. Doors start opening and things start moving quickly. That will create opportunities for you to grow at different levels. But it's that solid foundation first of knowledge, knowing where to go for that trusted CEO. Trust, doing the work that you need to do, and then having that inspired action and being accountable for it, and knowing that you can do that. Go ahead.
Good question. In your consulting, do you teach how to access the
That's a
records of
course.
business?
That takes a course. That's a course.
Okay.
Yeah, because it takes time to really get in there. And it's not just about accessing the records. There's an art to formulating questions. That's in any modality, really. You have to know how to move the question around to really get the energy to flow and to take the woo out of it. You want practical steps. You don't want, you have this really big mission and you need to be doing this, or you need to be doing that, and okay, that sounds really great, and we're usually like, wow, this is so great, I'm so much bigger than I see myself to be. But then when you go to do it, you go to step into it, you're like, oh man, I don't have the how do I do this? And so what happens is we get overwhelmed. And when we get overwhelmed, it's just a pattern, that's all, it's nothing more than that. It's just a pattern of behavior that is our body and our mind and our emotions keeping us safe, that we, it's overwhelmed. But understand that when you start working with the soul of your business, you're creating a whole new model to step into. You're creating its model. Not this guy's model or that guy's model. And there's no competition for you either. Remember, the segment of humanity that created it has a vibration, and you fit that vibration. Yeah?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I find what you've just been saying absolutely fascinating. I had a situation about 10 years ago where someone offered me a place in their business, and I had a few things going on, and I said no. They became, I can't tell you, like multi-millionaire, and for years I was thinking to myself, why did I just say no? But I said no because I knew I couldn't bring what they wanted. And so the business brought those other people in that person needed to bring what he was supposed to bring to that business. And it's fascinating because it takes the emotion
Yes.
out of that decision,
Yes, it does. That's a really great point, a really great teaching point, actually, I can share with you, is that when you really get it, that your business is not you and you are not your business, and that it is a separate entity, and that you are the special one. You are the one that was picked because you have it all. You have the special sauce. You have the whatever you want to call it. You have the secret sauce or whatever it is, but you may not know it now. So there's a moment of, oh my God, this can be real. This can be very real. Am I willing to step into that? Or like myself, look at how many years it took me to step into bringing them together. It doesn't mean that you're going to be abandoned by the business. It just means that it is helping you formulate other areas to bring out confidence in yourself and clarity about how you want to feel comfortable in this business. Remember, the record keepers have to help us. That they don't have to, but they want to help us kind of ease out of our comfort zone. Always being easing out of our comfort zone. One of the things I teach my students in the course is that you need to be in a place of vulnerability. And we hate vulnerability. It's like the bad V word, So, but that's where the that's where the change happens. That's where can I go forward yet? Can I not go forward yet? And then that's where the model is laid out before you. And it's a step by step by step. I think I have it on this one. Oh yeah, if you want to just kind of play with it a little with your intuition. Did you have a question?
I do, but I just don't know when to ask.
You what?
I just don't know when to ask, that's why I did, I went, just in case. I didn't know if there was gonna be questions and answers.
Well, no, there could be. So if you go to questionsforbiz.com, if you want to use your intuition and just kind of work with some questions, you can download, I think you have 6 or 7 questions there that I teach in my course when people learn how to open the record. See, now you know.
Yes, good, I'm gonna go there. But in the meantime, somebody who's a little skeptical of, because I remember yesterday when you told me my business has a soul, I'm like,
Yeah.
something I don't wanna.
I remember.
30 years in business, and I'm happy, considered successful based on me. I could be worse off, I could be better off. But what is that consultation in an hour? Because I really would like to come get a consultation from you today, because we went to a 10 o'clock workshop this morning. And
That's here.
No, the guy was going to be late, and then the first thing I thought about was Linda. I'm like, let's go to her. Right?
Thank
So it's
you.
kind of weird.
Well, it
I'm
wasn't
here.
me that brought you here, it was your business, like, go. Remember I told you about me? Like, I just kind of show up.
Oh no, gotta feel that. So what does an hour of consultation with you look like?
Okay, so we work on, I give you some of these questions too that you can ask. Or what you can do is if there's an area of your business that you feel really challenged on, or maybe what's the next level for my business? Like, what is the next thing that my business would like to do? What are some of the other things? With that, let me just, before you ask more about that, I want you to know that when you get this energy flowing like this, okay, when it's open and your business is on this side and you're on this side or whatever, or vice versa, the thing is that when this happens, your business is meant to enrich your life, okay? Not take away from your life. Just like you are enriching the souls that this business has contracts with, it's the same thing that it comes back for you. The only time your business struggles or stifles is because you've got something on this side that is blocking. It's kind of like plumbing, you block the pipe and it either runs slow or it doesn't run at all. So as we identify some of these things, it unlocks more energy that can go in this side. And that's what I call unmanifested potential. That's what the record keepers have taught me, that I teach my students, of what do you want to do with this extra energy you just let go of? What do you want to create? What do you want to make? It's unmanifested. It has potential to it. You want to put it back in your business because your business is going to feed you. It's going to expand your life, expand your dreams. Just like it wants you to help it. So just knowing the purpose of your business is one level. Remember, don't get overwhelmed. Just realize that that big mission has pieces to it, different plans, each plan has a strategy, each plan has a goal. And, when I first started kind of being more spiritual, it sounds really crazy just even saying that, because I was very skeptical. It's like, I don't know about this stuff, I'm a realtor, I make money, I build teams, so I had to keep going back, trying it out, trusting a little more, and seeing the results. Like, this is actually a shortcut for me, and I love shortcuts. If I can find a shortcut, great. That's why I stayed with the records. I've been taught so many other modalities, and it's like I can say my affirmation, my access key, go in, get my questions, close it up, leave, get on with my day, and that's why I stayed there. So I don't know. We'd have to see what you're inspired to talk about, but it could talk about what your next steps are.
And it has, so it's not, that's what I'm slightly, it's not, we've all, I think every business in the United States has been affected by COVID, some worse than others, and obviously mine is a little worse than others based on being in a residential market. But placing an ad in on Indeed to find employees is super hard, so that's not what your consultation's about, right? It's about nurturing the business versus how to run the business.
No, it depends really on the questions, what's going to come forward. You have to have questions. I am not a psychic with a ball, whatever you call those things, crystal ball. You come with a question and then it opens up the energy so that we know what's next for you. So one of the questions would be, do I find my employees on Indeed?
Oh, okay.
Or or what are some of the other areas to find employees? I don't know. So you would say there's Indeed, there's this, there's that. Which one's the best? And what kind of employee am I looking for? What are the qualities I want this employee to be so that it's at the higher standard of my purpose for this business? Do you see how specific you can get?
Yeah, because those are there's
Where should I, are you a
builder?
builder? Are you a builder?
No, residential security.
Okay, so where's the best area for my services? Where am I supposed to grow my business into? Is there another area that I should be? And then you can bring, a couple different, maybe you've had some ideas recently. Some areas of, where you have this thought like, that would be interesting. I wonder how that would work. And then you get on with your life. Those are the seeds I'm talking about.
And what is this? You're going to records. So when you say you're not a psychic, where are these records at?
They're the Akashic records. They're in the
And also, what is it actually, the Akasha records?
okay, so the Akasha is a field of energy where all things are created and stored. So we all have a soul, and the soul has experiences, and it goes from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime. And every time you live a lifetime, you are recording all your thoughts, words, and deeds. That's where karma comes in, or contracts come in. Where if you killed so-and-so, in a past life, and he became your partner now, he may have a real trust issue with you. And so there may be this dynamic going on that you're not sure why it's going on, but he's not trusting you and you're doing everything you can. So that's energy that needs to be unlocked. So when I use the key, you weren't here when I opened the records here, but I have an affirmation that I say first, and then I use a key, that access key that actually uses the business's name. And it unlocks the energy of those particular records in the Akasha field of energy. And so what happens is I'm able to hear, see, and feel the information. So we ask the question, and then I get the information. It's just like I'm here now. I'm not in some trance or it's just like we're talking, except I'm here, but I'm kind of in the space of getting this information and working with you with that information.
Excellent.
Wait, I think Kat was next here. Go ahead.
Do you work with a lot of creatives? Musicians, painters. Because I've had 10 years of kind of being blocked.
Yes, I do. And writers and all different kinds of people, because it's not what you do, it's how you connect with the bigger purpose. And there's a reason why you do what you do. And let's find out what the bigger purpose is for that, so that it gives you, first of all, it unblocks. And I just had a consult with a dentist, I think Friday night she came in, and she just bought a dental office from somebody that has been a long time dentist, and she inherited not only the space but the staff, and the staff has been kind of pushing back on her. And so I'm just giving you an example of how it's not necessarily just that one thing that is blocking her business. Her business is good. Her employees are always pushing back. They don't trust her. It's just like a big thing. So we talked about how to work through that. We talked about each one of the employees, what was really going on, who was a good person to keep, who was the person that would most likely be leaving soon. And then toward the end of the consult, which really showed up and was kind of being threaded through it, is that she, from childhood, was a real people pleaser. And what was happening is that she was trying to do everything she could to make the staff happy instead of running her business. And she thought in running your business and not making your staff happy meant that she would have to be a bitch or a terrible, just a raving person. She goes, well, I want to be kind. And I was like, yeah, you will be, but you need to be very strategic. You need to have your systems in place. So people need facts. They need to know, how do I work here? And then you need to hold them accountable. So those are areas there might be something from the past that is blocking you in fear. That's it. And really, I want you to know that blocks are strictly just patterns. That's it. They're not something that there's nothing wrong with you. It's a place for you to grow. And the more you grow, the more your business grows. And it gets exciting. It's like you get that passion back. I never got the passion back to go back to real estate. I still have my managing broker's license, but I hate selling real estate because it takes me away from what I love doing, which is coaching and training. And even I just sold my 2 sons and their families a house, and I was like, oh God, I have to go through the showing and inspections. So the thing is that you want to realize that you do not need to go into the dread. You want to go into the expansion, always. Go into where you feel expanded. Where is it challenging you to expand? You want to go into those challenges. So you wanna look at that block, like why, why am I afraid? Is it voice or artistry?
Writing.
Writing, yeah, that's a big area. What's interesting, I have a client that writes books. A lot of the books that she writes are from past lives, incomplete past lives, and I had never seen that before. Go ahead.
I am a part-time real estate investor, but I did not start it to make money, and I started it when the property went down to have a place that I can call it a place, but the next thing I know, there's money in it after a few years. Now, I have a full-time demanding job. I work for government and I do COVID compliance and all that stuff. And now I have tenants and decided, I wanted to get out and then do something else. But the next thing I find myself is still looking at real estate, contacting agent to buy another one. I don't know, how are you gonna help me within 1 hour to do everything?
You'd be surprised, you would be surprised how much comes through. It's the most pertinent. Remember, you have all this stuff going on, but you just need to focus in the one area that's the root of it that will help bring everything else in line. And that's something that I'm just really good at. I mean, I can talk to somebody and my brain starts going into strategies and it's like put puzzle pieces together. And I just have to tell you this cute story, short. When I was a kid, young, like 7 years old, I always wanted to sew. And I think I got my first sewing machine when I was like 9. But I didn't want to sew other people's patterns. I wanted to sew my own. So I started like designing things and putting them together. And I didn't realize this until recently, but that was me being trained to be a strategist. To take strategic steps and put them together until they fit and they look well. So I want you to go back and to kind of look at these different things that there's this opening. These seeds are all over the place. They're dropping breadcrumbs for you. So any other questions?
Those questions, like any of us can ask them right now? Go through your website? Or
Yeah,
does
you
that
can
work?
download them right away.
Okay,
Yeah, and if you come by my booth and you do want to, I have those questions there too, just on, for the clients that come in.
Are you doing any consultations whilst you're here, or are they for future appointments if you do want to do the hour consultation?
I don't personally, when in my business, I don't do 1 hours. I do 2 hours, which is a kind of a one-off, which I don't like doing those because it doesn't really help the business owner enough, because it gives them this big plan and then some strategies. Or they can be in a 3-session 1 hours. Thank you all so much for being here, and any other questions?